Police fired tear gas at anti-government protesters in Mongkok on second day of Christmas protests.
Last night's protests continued into the early hours with damage to MTR exits, police vehicles and an HSBC branch.
Protesters in Mongkok shouted slogans to voice their discontent against police in the early evening. Shortly after, police fired rounds of tear gas at the crowd and subdued at least one person. The blue and black warning flags were unfurled after launching the gas. Tear gas was also discharged near Portland Street. The gas engulfed a shop selling street food. Some workers were caught in it and needed to treat it for eye irritation by volunteers. They then put on face masks and threw away the food. Earlier in the day, a group of black-clad protesters gathered in Langham Place and chanted pro-independence slogans. The shopping center stopped the escalators and asked people inside to stay calm. Outside the mall, a man in a gray shirt scuffled with riot police who were standing guard. He was pepper sprayed and pinned to the ground. The man was later taken into a police vehicle. Anti-government protesters also rallied inside Newtown Plaza in Sha Tin, prompting some shops to close early. At around 5 p.m., protesters accused some masked men of being plainclothes officers and shouted at them. A few minutes later, the masked men revealed extendable batons and subdued the man. Another man argued with officers and was pepper sprayed and pushed to the ground. A riot officer aimed a rubber bullet gun at people standing on the upper floors, while those who were subdued were taken away by plainclothes officers. Michelle, HKIBC. Protesters in Mongkok marked Christmas Eve by blocking Argyle Street near Langham Place at around 9:30 p.m. An hour later, they set fire to a Mongkok MTR station exit. The railway company subsequently closed the entire station. Radical protesters also vandalized the HSBC Business Center at the junction of Argyle Street and Nathan Road. They also set its entrance on fire. Protesters said it was an act of revenge against the bank for closing the account of Spark Alliance, a crowdfunding organization that provided financial assistance to people who have been arrested by police. After midnight, some threw petrol bombs at police vehicles on Nathan Road near Argyle Street. Riot police rushed towards the crowd while firing an anti-riot gun. A photographer was hit by a pepper ball and suffered injuries to his head. Officers then fired multiple rounds of tear gas on Nathan Road, but protesters did not leave the area. HSBC was targeted again at around 1 a.m. Another Mongkok MTR exit was set ablaze, and recently repaired traffic lights were damaged again. Meanwhile, in Tsim Sha Tsui, tear gas was fired by police for several hours. A water cannon truck was deployed near Kowloon Mosque at around 11 p.m. Water jets were discharged at protesters. At the Avenue of Stars, a famous tourist spot, officers accused people of unlawful assembly and demanded they leave before using pepper spray. The government said in a statement that it strongly condemned the acts of vandalism, describing them as outrageous. It blamed protesters for seriously disrupting social order, negatively affecting the festive mood, and obstructed other people from enjoying themselves. Michelle, HKIBC.
HSBC said it was saddened and disappointed by the acts of vandalism against their Mongkok branch. Workers boarded up the business center this morning after its windows were smashed by radical anti-government protesters last night. The bank has reiterated that the Spark Alliance account was closed in November to adhere to its global standards. It received a notification from police in December on how to handle the money in the account.